I'm gonna look back down into that pond.
Endless stars.
I'm gonna repeat that back into it, even though I don't know what it says or what it means. Godranis.
You repeat Gordranis back into the pool.
Godranis. I say it again louder.
Elias holds your arm. Dad, you know I won't look like this when you get home.
I know. Wait. Come back here.
Dad.
No. Don't leave. Just let me have this.
He holds the fishing rod. I think I caught something. He disappears into the pool, and you hear... The entire neighborhood in front of you vanishes as a body the size of a mountain crashes into the city. A massive red form writhes in pain, and a face as tall as a cathedral turns to you. A flood of sanguine fluid emerges from the mouth, and a horned figure looks at you. You look and see something older than the world look back. I'm sorry.
I approach.
I'm sorry.
What are you? What are you doing here? What is this?
My child, I fear I am too late. There are secrets they did not tell you.
He opens his hand.
I rush to it.
His hand is the size of a marketplace, and you look, and in the center, translucent in ghostly imagery, you see a small tree, no taller than 10 feet. Ghostly light, translucent as blossoms move from it. And you see in ghostly light projected from the palm of this giant, this red horned giant.
What does this mean? What is this?
I'm sorry. You must look. He is coming. From behind you, a figure emerges in translucent white light. Could you do me the favor of describing what your husband looked like in life?
Oh, God. I gotta go.
It's been 10 minutes.
So,
Where did we breathe that? Where does that come?
This whole episode is a trigger warning.
I'm upset to take notes.
Evandrin is about 5'10". He's just a little bit shorter than I am. He's got red hair, straight, about shoulder length, half elven in appearance. He looks, if you look at Elias, our son, you're seeing the spitting image of what he's going to look like when he's grown up.
Evandrin steps past you. He cannot see you, and you understand in this moment, because your husband does not meet your eyes, that this is a memory. He is not here again, and he is still gone. He holds an amulet, steps towards the tree, and the blossoms from the tree blow in his direction. For a moment, his hair sweeps behind him, mixed with the petals of this flowering sapling. He falls to his knees, clutches his stomach.
I run to his side. I know this is a memory, but I haven't seen him in so long, and I want to see his face.
You turn to see his face. You see, he turns up to see someone else. Something's wrong. The image is shattered in a searing burst of light. Another figure, tall as a mountain. All of the light, all of the fire is but a shadow in the face of the dawn. You see a gleaming golden figure land with one colossal foot on the throat of this horned figure, press him further into the rubble of Avalier. And you see the horned figure looks to you and cries out.
His hands are still out?
You stand now in the palm of his hand.
I reach down and I touch it.
You see the figure. You do. You feel a pulse. You feel warm blood flowing through this giant.
Oh.
You look up. The face of the being above you is no face. There is no warmth to the eyes. You see the pitiless, featureless glare of the sun itself.
I look up at its face. Is it looking down in my direction?
It turns down to look at you.
Turn your eyes from this sinner. He is beyond redemption.
What has he done?
He has betrayed his kin.
You see the horned figure turns to you and says,
It's all right. It's all right. Just ask yourself, Zerxus. Whom did we betray?
I can't.
Yo.
and he
I
Stop!
You hold your hand, and as you hold it up, the light of the sun leaves and is abjured. The horned fiend coughs, looks at you with the expression of a being that has just had its life saved and says, "No mortal would do this thing that you have done." Zerxus, if you look down and see the stars, what will you see if you look up?
His hand is, are his fingers curled up? I know I'm in his palm.
Mm-hmm.
I look at his face and I start to approach one of the fingers that are standing up, probably like a pillar.
Mm-hmm.
And I put my hand on the finger and lean on it. And I'm holding on to him.
Yeah.
And I look up.
You see the ground, and it is fast approaching.
What?
And with that, you wake up.
Oh, Daddy.
I think I'm in the wrong class.
We're going to go to the chamber with Carwin.
As we start walking, I'm gonna ask her, what sorts of prophecies was she speaking about? Do you recall any names, anything at all?
I can go pull the. It was written down. Everything she said was written down, so I can go pull that.
Please.
I'll go grab it at once, and then she goes off with you to go look at the bathing chamber. You go into the room with Carwin. You walk in, and you see a circle of white runes gathered around a small and humble bed, a wash basin, a small chest of clothes that have all kind of been collected in a bizarre sort of a room compressed, and all of the furniture that would be up against the walls instead compressed into the center of kind of a circle. And you see sleeping in the bed is a young woman dark skin, curly dark hair, sleep. She looks restful. Give me an insight check.
Come on, baby. Ooh, 24.
She, for whatever it's worth to you, you were expecting to see someone ravaged by some affliction.
Yeah.
You see a strong, healthy-looking woman deep in rest.
I'm going to... I'm going to get closer. I want to get a closer look, and I want to see what is, just investigate anything that's underneath it. I mean, did they make like a magic circle or something?
Yeah,
around
there's
there?
a magic circle around
Yes.
the bed, yeah. You walk up to...
Pulsing or anything?
You walk in to look under the bed. Nothing is pulsing. You see there's an object under the bed, though, kind of centered under the bed. It's a small hand mirror.
Vibe check. Vibe check. It's just a mirror, guys. It's fine.
I'm gonna. I want to get a good look at it. I'm gonna walk around
Yeah.
and take a good look from every angle. Look around to see if there's any other mirrors. 'Cause I know mirrors are a thing now in this place.
Tis true.
And if I don't notice anything out of the ordinary, then I'm going to go to her, whatever side, maybe if she's sleeping on her side, I'm going to go towards, to the side of the bed that her face is facing. So it could be turned to me. Mm-hmm. And if I don't notice anything from that little walk around, I'm going to very gently call her name.
You do notice something in your walk around.
Okay.
As you are moving through the space here, you walk around the corner of the bed. As you get beside
Can I activate something?
yeah, go for it.
Divine sense.
Yeah, dog. Sorry. I'm so nervous.
So this time it's so I reach out instinctively and I touch. I have tucked inside of my armor. I pull out a stone, a necklace, and there's two. One is a name stone. It's essentially like a dog collar. It's given to the first knights. I have one that's mine, and I have another one that's Evandrin's that I kept with me. I pull them both out and I hold them in my hands just because out of impulse. And I activate Divine Sense from that.
The edge of the chamber on the far wall, you walk around the headboard of the bed. Again, everything is compressed into this magical circle. You look at the edge of the room. Illusory or not, there is this place has like a lot of association with water. There's a lot of like water feeling in this place. And you see there is a wall that has a stream of water pouring down it. Very slight, making almost no noise, almost like those slate fountains that just have a sheet of water coming down them. You look into it. You activate your divine sense. You've never detected anything fiendish before. Or at least, maybe you thought you did, but it was nothing compared to this. It was nothing compared to this. In the reflection of the bed, in the wall of water coming down the dark stone, lights reflecting, Carwin is not in the bed. You see a horned figure in red, bleeding and dying in the bed. The last time you saw this figure was the size of a mountain.
Does it look at me?
It doesn't appear able to. It looks like it is dying, grievously injured.
I'm approaching.
Do you approach the wall or do you approach Carwin in the bed?
Well, my divine sense didn't ping the bed. I'm just seeing this be revealed. It pinged the wall.
Oh, yes. Carwin has a slight celestial presence just due to being an oracle. The fiendish presence in the reflection overpowers everything.
Fuck.
Bro.
I'm going to face that water where that ping came from. Show yourself.
I can't.
Show yourself.
I'm trying.
Is that coming from the wall or coming
That's
from...
coming from the wall. It's coming from the reflection.
I am.
I approach it.
Zerxus,
You know me.
I know you well. You saved me.
I'm walking towards that.
Yeah. You have reached the wall.
I put my hand on it.
Does Zerxus want to go through?
He goes through.
You are in another time, another realm.
This is why you don't leave your buddy. This is why we have buddies.
Everyone was insistent that tearaway is
Yeah,
better
go ahead,
with
go ahead.
one.
He's taking a bath. He's scrubbing his butt.
So Fyra, please come out. I can't get the bottom of my feet.
You see, you walk through. Silver mist, a bed soaked with blood. You smell the smell of blood, but you see a wheezing, rasping devil.
Same one.
Same one. Now your size. Now the size of a man.
It's all right. I can't really die. So you don't... I'm not in danger right now. It just hurts. That's all.
What's happened to you?
Well, you came in before the Dawnfather could destroy it.
So that was real?
It's all been real. It's all been real.
I get closer. You know me. Then who are you?
Betrayer. Sinner. Most unclean. I am the Lord of the Hells. And
I don't believe in the gods.
lately, I don't much either.
Give me your hand.
And he puts a blood-soaked hand in your hand. Feels weak. Feels...
I heal him. I cast cure wounds on him. Shall I roll it, or does it matter?
It removes him from the dying condition. It removes him from making death saves.
The Lord of Hells.
The Lord of Hells.
It's the name they gave you. Or the name you gave yourself.
When you get to the table, and there's not much left but scraps, you take what you're given.
Why are you here?
I don't know. don't know. I left where I was, and now I'm here.
I'm scanning his entire body, his face. I'm looking for.
Yeah. If you want, let me know what you want to do. If you want to give me an insight check, you can. If you want to, if you're just doing a divine sense, he is registering as fiendish to you.
I'm looking for the traces of what he's endured on his face, you know? Like, I'm expecting broken, and I feel like I'm just seeing hurt and bewildered.
He seems hurt and bewildered. You know people well enough. Mm. Not everyone shows you how broken they are when they're first meeting you.
Right. I take his hand again, and I look him in the eyes, and I say, "What have they done to you?" I want to know everything.
You look, and for the first time now that he is no longer writhing in pain, this man is beautiful. He bears in passing almost a resemblance, if it can be said, to Evandrin.
Oh, why'd you do that? Why? I knew you were going to say that. I gotta go. What does that mean, though?
I can't help but his name just falls out of my mouth. Evandrin.
What the fuck?
I don't look the same to everybody.
Oh.
They said before it all went wrong, they said I was the most beautiful of them all.
You were?
But as well you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and so I sometimes look like the most beautiful face that mortals have seen.
Why does he look like me?
He looks at you and says, Evandrin. That's the name you just said.
Yeah,
That was your love, yes?
it was. Why do you remind me of him?
Only you could answer that. I never know who I'm going to look like to people.
Is this a trick? Are you playing with me?
People often think I'm tricking them, and I never have anything to say to that. What can you say to someone when they think that you're always going to trick them? I promise. No. I don't know Evandrin, but he must have been a very good man because he's not in my realm.
Okay.
Let's get you cleaned up. What?
I have known only darkness for so long, and even before that, no one has shown me kindness.
That's gonna change. And that's a damn shame. This is your home. Don't you forget that. You belong here.
He sits up in the bed, and there are bedclothes here. There's fabric. If you wish to dress his wounds and clean him up, you can.
I will do so with the utmost care.
You do so with the utmost care. As you do so, he smiles. He says, well, while you're cleaning up a god of darkness and fire? Is there anything I can do to repay the favor? This is not Exandria yet. I don't know where I'm not where I was, but I'm not home
You're in
yet.
between. And you are coming. Is that it? Someone has done something. Someone has broken you out of wherever you once were.
The door opened. Yes, that's true.
And you walk through it.
Oh, the door opened more explosively than I can say. It opened and we all tumbled out. It was not a kind place behind that door, and the, for lack of a better word, pressure behind it was enormous. It was a place made to teach us a lesson.
It was your punishment. Do you remember what you've done and why they sent you there?
We came to a young world. We came to a world of raw, elemental wonder, of chaos and exultant passion, of energy vaster and more potent than anything we had beheld in the cosmos. We came here and we began to shape what we could, what we dreamed. The primordials were here when we arrived. It was their world first. We arrived and we began to shape. We offered our creations. I saw...
Will you do something for me, please?
Yes,
Will you kneel with me?
I will.
I want to hear everything.
He kneels with you.
I cast ceremony.
You cast ceremony with him.
Marriage?
Atonement.
You begin to cast atonement. As you begin to cast it, you see he looks, and I believe the casting time of ceremony is
an hour.
Is an hour. You begin to cast atonement. As you cast this spell, you focus in. He kneels with you and he says, we started to make our creations, and I did as I thought I must. I was a celestial. I was a celestial of light, and they were creating truth and love and honor. They were creating courage and mortal beings. They were creating choices and many of the gods spoke first. Many of the gods spoke first and long, and it was a long time before I spoke, and much had already been said, and I thought to help. I had seen the gifts of love and courage and truth and honor and sacrifice, and I said, these are the greatest gifts we could create, and we must make them matter. And I said, these will matter because in their absence, we will know deceit, and in their absence, we will know betrayal. In the absence of love, there will be viciousness. I thought I was expanding on a creation. I thought I was making something that would make the earlier work more. And then years passed and time passed, and the gifts I had made, mortals called them evil, said that they were wicked, said that they were wrong. And I said, well, yes, but that is the point, is it not? That and they hated me, and none said prayers to my name. And I turned to my kin and my brethren, and I said, does this strike you as fair? None of them spoke. None of them said a word in my defense. All were happy to watch as my gifts were not seen for what I intended them to be. And then the others decided to grant even more. Many of us were already hated. Many of us already were seen as something worse, something abominable. But those stories, those things that shaped that, they were aided or egged on or pushed forward by the others. And in that time of pain and sorrow, they then stepped forward and gave more gifts. They gave magic. The primordials, they were giving the ability to shape reality to the things that they had used their ability to shape reality to shape. We had already lent on the hospitality of the primordials enough. We had lent on it enough. And we stepped in and said, the game has gone on too far. The primordials rose up against them, and the prime deities, as they called themselves, stepped in to fight them, to double down on their overreach. Our promises were to the primordials, and we were called betrayers!
I lay my hand on his chest. Easy.
I have been burning for so long.
They used you. They did. And I'm sorry for that. I can help you. You say you know me? When the time comes and you step from this void into our world, don't you forget me. Don't you forget the kindness that we're capable of, because we're your children too. We are made of the same stuff that what you initially created. We come from the same thing. And if you remember the stories as well as you seem to, then you know that at some point you turned your pain on us. They used you and then you used us to get back at them. I have a son that's not of my blood, but that is my son. I met Evandrin when he was just an infant, and I held that boy in my arms, and I fell in love with him. I am his father, but he is not of my blood. And in that same way, we are your children. Please remember that. Don't take your pain out on us. Spare us. And I will help you. I will help you confront those that did this to you.
I don't give my word lightly. You have my word on this, Zerxus Ilerez. Not for all the ages of the world will I forget you. You are not I see faults in people. I know what they have done wrong. Do you want to know your fault, Zerxus? You are very trusting. You say that I am being used. You, my friend, are being used.
By you.
I am the father of lies. You are being lied to, and not by any god.
I turn around and look back through the portal that I walked through.
As you begin to go back through the portal,
I'm not moving just yet. I just turned.
you turn to look. You see out there. You look back out through the portal. You see your body is on the ground next to the bed, and your eyes have rolled back in your head. You're having a vision. You recognize, like, when I walked towards the water, that was me ejecting from my body. You realize, I am an oracle. I am fully one of the people of this hall. Like, this is me, right? You see, you look out into the room and you see the Lord of the Hells goes, "Is that it out there? That's the world?"
Yes, it is.
What part of Exandria are we in? Maybe it's all changed since the last time I was there. I don't know.
I won't lie to you. It's called Avalier.
Avalier. Flying over Dominus, yes?
Yes.
Is Dominus still beautiful?
Parts of it, yes. Aspects of it.
I always said, we were supposed to take credit for it all equally. Dominus was my favorite. But I always said, on the face of Exandria, Dominus was the smile. It truly is. It is. There is nothing like it.
I have to leave you. I'm going back.
What became of Evandrin?
I don't quite know. Some sort of illness that was beyond my reach took him. The vision I had with you showed him walking towards a tree.
There are some less than kind workings of magic on some trees of old.
He was spitting up something that became intangible. And I felt him sort of fading when I picked him up, desperately trying to find some sort of a cure that was nowhere to be found. It wasn't from anything from this world that I could understand. Nobody could help. Why was he in the dream?
Connection. His spirit was somehow near. I don't know how to describe it. Did you ever try, after his passing, to bring him back?
I tried to stop it from happening. And I never found him, really, when he passed. But I did everything I could to stop it.
Great and many are the powers of mortals to stop poisons, diseases, afflictions, and curses.
I know. Nobody would help. I know that city had some way of bringing him back. How could they not?
There are few you can trust. Very few. I don't know much. I have been away for quite some time, but of my domain I am certain. I am the father of lies, and there are many lies in the city you call home.
I don't call this city home.
The Lord of the Hells feels the impact of that. He looks at you and you have done me a great service and you have given me your trust, but I understand that mortals will always have a part of their soul that recoils from me. It is the nature of the gifts I gave them.
Then you made me wrong.
He puts a hand on your shoulder and interrupts your casting of atonement. And instead casts a spell on you and puts a protection from evil and good on you. That will protect you from myself, from Celestials, from Fae.
Thank you.
You see, he, you see,
You take a bath.
and I just want to, you see that, he says, time for that will come later. And you have work in Exandria, in the mortal realm. I am trapped in a space in between. There's a poison. There is a poison in your city. And I think you know the shape of it.
I give him a nod. As I just innately just start to feel like my time here is up. I start to step away from him and I walk towards the portal. And as I start to step through it, I turn around and I say to him, "Come find me." And I go through.
You walk through, you leave, you come back into your body on the floor with the tight muscles of someone who has been like spasming in a state of religious ecstasy, and stand up. We return underground, and as we do, I will describe what we all see in time. Pesha. The schism. You look deep into the past. The Dawn Father, the Wild Mother. Emperor Raushan. Empress Kamort. Two of the primordials. Two of the only that were never killed. Sealed under Mount Igora. You see, deep underneath the mountain, the druids tending to the seals. The Gau Drashari. The Gau Drashari built their temples here to tend to the work of the Wild Mother and the Dawn Father to seal these primordials away. Over time, Centuries. Mortals are so bad at remembering. It waxed on, and eventually the wizards came, and they saw the broomstone in the mountain, and they wished to lift it up. You see the Gaudrashari meeting. You see your grandfather. Our aim is to bring magic to the world. How could that be wrong? I know that your mountain is precious. It is more than precious. There are things within this mountain. Oh? What things are there within this mountain? And here you see that the druids, though they did not have hubris, perhaps had flaws of their own, for they would not say, for they did not trust. Our business is our own, but we will not see the mountain tampered with. Surely, we would not be having this discussion if something were not possible. What if there was a way for us to reinforce? What if there was a way for us to gather magic from all over Exandria and bring it here? We would gladly tithe you some portion of the magic we collected. Is that possible? Your grandfather, a beautiful man, kind mystics. Anything is possible. You see them look and say, the land could thrive. Dominus could thrive. And you see here they look and say, would you grant us some boons if we allowed you to take the peak, and the peak alone? We can work with the peak. Move forward. You see the Gaudrashari. One of them summoning a tree into being. A tree of names. If the wizards intend to fly along the ley lines, then perhaps this could be a good thing. A tree to protect Exandria, to scribe the names of those things beyond, which should not come. And you see a floating globe, Exandria, beautiful. And all throughout it, ley lines. The tree is not a wall, it's a pen. It is scribing runes of protection. And as you travel the ley lines, the blossoms fall and protect your world. Protect your world from all the things outside it. For 292 years, Avalier has been writing a spell on the surface of the world to keep it safe. The Gaudrashari believed in keeping things safe and protecting Exandria. And centuries from now, when their order is shattered, only the last 3 syllables of their name will remain. The Ashari. The Tree of Names. To keep this world, our world, safe from all those things beyond it. You see, one of the druids speaks. The wizards, do they not have a right to know? See, the druid turns and says, would you trust them? Do you think they would let the tree stand? Or do you think they would bend it to their will? Do you think that a day would come when a war, or a coronation, a betrayal, or a contract, some temporary problem, they would not see advantage in using what they should not meddle with? No. We will bind them to their word, and we will not tell them what we have done. Zerxus, you look in the tree. You see translucent face you have longed to see for many years. Before, his voice was proud, and now his face looks afraid. He looks at you in a ghostly moment and says, "Not like this." Blight hits the heart of the tree. Rot, and the tree sunders. The seam opens along the trunk, and as it opens, there is only fire. 2 arms push the tree apart, and the skinned face of Vespin Chloris gazes out. And behind him, you hear the true voice that has been speaking to you for quite some time. "Very good, my little puppet." Vespin crawls through. The tree sunders. And the Lord of Hells gazes. To be home again, as the betrayer steps foot into Exandria. Zerxus, you and you alone become aware that truly only you are left moving. You hear your breath, but your body is still flying. You're still headed for the wall, but something has restored you. Give me a perception check.
This perception check will decide our fate.
Scroll.
That one doesn't see a thing.
Yeah, it's like there's a case of healing potions right there. I missed it.
What's going on with this tree?
14.
Up above, the tree is expanding. It's destroyed utterly, but it is expanding and moving. It was already, the blight was the finishing stroke on it. It had done, the tithe had already been shorted, the energy to it had already been cut off. There was a weakness in it already. The calyx needed so much energy to function, and the blight was almost just pushing it over the edge, and it went. And you see branches moving, none of them near you, but they are moving in the direction of you, moving fast. You see 2 things. One, spiraling off in the branches, small, translucent, blinking light. It blinks to you once every 30 seconds, once a minute. And then you see in the fiery seam before you, a foot has stepped through. If it can be called that, a thing of shadow and flame, a massive cloven hoof of a being that is both the size of a man, but also 20 feet tall, but also as tall as the sky itself. And you cannot tell as you look at it, because this thing is realer than your reality. You look up and see the thing trying to enter the world, the thing that... It is good to be home. And you look up into the fire, and you see a heart. And within that fiery heart, you see a writhing humanoid figure, calling out and screaming, horned. But for a moment, the face is golden, like the bow of that solar, and the horns fade into bright red hair, and you see something tortured and in pain, past the fiery seam. And you feel that there is something, not of the flesh, but of the spirit, that would allow you to reach out.
I will.
You turn.
Yeah.
In this moment, the tree, the light expanding, Vespin hunched, your friends moving, and the figure beyond the seam shrieking in pain. Where do you move the power of your spirit to?
Oh my God. I've seen all of them land where they are. I've seen this shrieking, tormented creatures at the core of what looks like
The Lord of Hells. That this thing maybe has more than one form, and there is some form within it that you can see that is in agony.
Oh my God. I look at I look at each of my companions and I see, before this moment, the last thing that I had seen milliseconds ago was this figure, golden figure of Leyrin rushing towards Loquacious and trying to protect him, and then that getting shattered and their bodies breaking and snapping and falling, and I want to go to them so bad because I know that I can help. I start to head. Oh, fuck. All the answers are right in front of me in the fire. I go to the fire.
You reach into the flame. You see beginning to manifest something like a hand, like your hand, but it is deep and ruby red. It reaches out and the fire does not burn it. It moves through, and you feel its connection to you, and you see the figure writhing in pain. And that hand, you're still sailing through the air. The hand reaches what feels like an eternity away, miles and miles. And finally, your hand alights, and you feel the burning hot skin of the figure in torment. And that figure, that same size as you, almost small in the distance that you can see, turn to look as the hand touches and sees you. I'm scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. I'm here. I'm here. Come on, come with me. Take my hand. Do you know me?
Glad grasps your hand.
I hold it as tight as I can.
Zerxus,
Yes.
I promised you I'd never forget.
I promised you I wouldn't either.
I'm dying here.
No, you're not. I won't let you.
You can't come here. You'll die. This place is...
Then you come here.
He looks at you.
I pull.
Does the time stop?
Zerxus, you pull the true heart of the Lord of the Hells into Exandria. And as it enters, you see this hand This ruby red hand, he smiles and he moves through the seam. That massive form vanishes. The seam begins to close behind him. It's still there. The explosion is still happening in this moment, but he comes through and you see him floating. He's joining you, sailing through the air, almost as though he hits the same buffet of explosion that you are in as this hand pulls him. And you see, as he comes through, shadows begin to move through the door with him. You see your hand that is pulling him. He moves across the threshold and is in the world. That ruby red hand shines so brightly. And you see the hand attached to a wrist, and the wrist to an arm, and the arm move all the way to your body and the wound that Zartaza, the devil, left in you. The hand is your blood. Your blood issuing on a tendril from your body across the fiery seam. And you see in the exact same spot that injury on the Lord of the Hells holding on to your hand of blood. And as he moves into this world, you see his face changes. He looks a lot like you. He moves, and you see shadows moving into the space. You see Zartaza, the Arrhenius, the armored Arrhenius, walks through. She is smiling and weeping. You see your blood still on her sword. And you see the Lord of the Hells. Yes.
I lay my hand on his chest.
And he puts a hand on yours. Let's get ourselves cleaned up.
What will become of me?
Who can say? You are an oracle. I would think that you would know yourself.
Can I do something?
Yeah. You are still moving through space slowly, but you can do something here in this moment.
Holy shit.
As you think of what to do, I'm going to plug my computer in.
Lou is the physical manifestation of all of our emotions right now. He is being oppressed by this
All you gotta do is have red hair. I wish I had red hair. I wish I had red hair. You saved me.
Holy shit.
Zerxus.
Yes.
What you recognize this, whatever this is, the blood of the chosen. There is some connection here. You have been able to draw him into this world. He looks at you. He's also going to cure you for 40 points of damage.
What about the homie? You know?
Yeah, can we have some for the homies?
What about
Little resurrection. Little revivify for the homie.
Working on it.
We know who that is.
You see, he looks at you and says, whatever you wish to happen can happen. What do you?
Has he completely stepped in?
He's floating through the air, being buffeted by the force of the explosion. You're kind of just like sailing weightlessly, slowly through space right now. But he's side by side with you. You're both sort of horizontal, and he's just gazing at you.
My hand moves from his chest to his face, and I just kind of hold his face very gently, looking in his eyes, and I ask him, what do you remember? What do you remember of your existence before you found your way here?
Everything. I remember everything.
Then tell me, and I would like to... I place my other hand on Evandrin's name stone. and touching his face very gently, I used cleansing touch, but powered by the stone.
You use your cleansing touch, and you feel the portion of that ceremony you were casting before, the uncompleted ceremony.
Yeah.
The ceremony of atonement that you were performing. In this moment, you feel your cleansing touch that gives him the ability. I believe the wording of that ability is, someone's in a corrupted form. It can release them from it. You can combine it with that ceremony of atonement.
Yeah.
In this moment.
Everything I'm doing everything I can to get him to what I believe is the purest him.
Yeah. You move through, and I believe he gets a saving throw, correct?
He does.
You move a hand to him, and you see he goes, I think you may be the most exceptional mortal I've ever known.
He's great.
You begin to perform the ceremony of atonement. You go to cleanse him. He accepts your hand and leans his face against your shoulder as you sail through the air side by side. Zartaza smiles, Vespin hunched down by the tree, frozen in time as well. The spell should be working. And it's not. And he looks at you, and he can tell something is wrong. Like, he's looking at you, like, wondering what's up.
I know that it would have succeeded, and it should have succeeded. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, it should have. Yeah, absolutely. So,
And he's confused.
he's looking at you kind of confused. It's like, is something supposed to happen now?
I don't know.
What are you attempting to do?
I want you to remember. Like you said, you remember everything.
Yeah.
I want you to remember who you were before
Yes.
before you came here. Before all of this. Do you remember?
I think I remember the nature of this nature of the ceremony. This is a ceremony of atonement, correct? I see. I think I know what may be happening.
What?
The ritual of Evandrin, the resurrection, it didn't work because you tried to resurrect him, but he wasn't dead.
Right.
You're trying to atone me, and I didn't do anything wrong. And he stabs you through the heart. You want to know what I've always hated about mortals? And you feel his claws dig into the back.
You're wrong! I lay a hand on him and I cast Remove Curse.
Oh, God.
He laughs uproariously.
Look at me. This is not who you are. This is not who you are!
Who am I?
You're not this! How have you forgotten? You think you know how you came here? You think you stumbled upon this place? Look at me. Look at me. I am the godless. I am a conduit of divinity that is far greater and more ancient than anything you have ever understood. Look at me. You didn't stumble upon this place, you and your kin. You were called here. We have always been here. You were wandering in the abyss, lost. And we called you here so that you can have a home. You didn't create anything. We have always been here. You came and you shaped. You took and you shaped and you changed, but you didn't create a thing. You're no god. You're a child. You are a child, and you're lost. How do you not see that?
You have referred to yourself and your fellow mortals as our children. You are not our children. You are a bad first draft. Ooh. The first plan was to destroy this, to let you all fade into nothingness. That's not gonna be how we do it this time. You think that you are a man of true belief and that it is all these wizards around you that are humble. Who is the most proud man here? These ones who thought they would fly a city, or the man who thought he would teach me a lesson? The only difference between you and the Dawn Father is that the Dawn Father is a little more humble. Now, I'll tell you why I spit on your forgiveness. I'll tell you why I loathe your redemption. To reach a hand down to somebody, they need to be beneath you! And I'm beneath nobody. You wanted to understand me. Then you should have accepted that I was right! And he pulls the back of your head and rips the skin off of your skull.
Oh my!
Dungeons and Dragons. My skin is sticky.
You do have 3 hit points. Maybe you'll survive this.
Why don't come for this side of the table? Kill one of them.
You see,
There's a lot of raft coming this way.
Sarah's at 7-Eleven. I think I got exact change.
give me an insight check if you would be so kind.
Do I have a moment to do anything?
You have a moment to do anything.
Then I'm going to cast a spell.
What do you cast?
I'm going to cast Resilient Sphere on myself.
Cool. He counterspells it with a 9th level spell slot and smashes you into the floor and breaks your spine. And he heals you again, and
He just keeps bringing you again. That is the coolest shit.
he breaks your spine, heals you, raises you back up, casts Time Stop again. I just want to remind everybody.
Really quick.
Yeah.
When I get in between the time stops, buddy. Just let a girl know, like, yeah.
No, he casts the second time stop in the first time stop.
Okay.
He accepts the time stop.
Okay.
He accepts the time stop. He accepts the time stop. He double time stop.
This man is a god.
Ready,
He's
bitch, get a
That's
cake.
Yeah.
We're getting incepted right now.
time stop within a time stop.
I fully hear you.
Love it, I love
He
it.
brings you back. You see, he said, in the vision in the Hall of Prophecy, you told me that you would help me confront those who did this to me. Wake up, Zerxus! You did this to me! You and your kin, you think my enemy are the prime deities? Those are my siblings! We were happy once, together. We traveled here together. Has it never dawned on you that before the schism, all was well between us? We came here to make something. And then, one of our puppets, one of our foolish paper dolls, mattered so much to them that they threw us into the pit. You think that my quarrel is with them? No. All of you did something to them. You made them turn their back on us. My greatest heartbreak is that when I have collected every last mortal soul and all of my siblings into my pit, that I will only have eternity to punish them.
So, I can die as many times as possible, and Tempest is still out there.
Mm-hmm.
And my telepathic link to Tempest remains.
Yes.
As this is happening, I'm just basically transferring all of this with some instructions to Tempest. Wait.
For sure, we said
Right.
You're right. You're right.
yeah, you don't got lips no more.
You speak to the Lord of the
Can I?
Hills.
I mean, can I?
Yes,
Is it-
absolutely.
Does
absolutely,
he
yes.
heal me to just rip my face off again?
This is his vision.
Yeah.
Endless torment without death. This is what he is here to do.
Preston's like, cool, right?
It's not that bad once you get used to it.
No one Flintstones dinosaur my devil NPC. It's a living.
We're laughing because it's so dark.
I've never been more stressed
There's
in my
nothing else.
entire.
It's
Not even happening to you. It's happening to me right now.
I know.
Imagine how this is.
You're next.
I would
Does anyone
never
want a
want
gummy
this.
bear?
Unconscious,
Yes.
dead. Faceless, dead and alive, unconscious.
Something.
Yeah, can I have a brand list?
So you communicate that to Tempest, trying to tell him that something is wrong. You feel that leave. Give me an insight check if you can.
Oh my god. I thought the other sessions were gonna give me nightmares. 21.
You look into his eyes and you see the father of lies. You see it was so easy for him. And what you see is you have fought abominations and undead before. You have fought things that are of an alien need for destruction, cold, unfeeling, things that are anathema to life itself, and this is not the Lord of Hells. There is an infinite hatred behind his eyes, purer than anything you can imagine. Perhaps at one point he wore a golden face.
It's long gone.
And behind his eyes, when they were of gold, this hatred lived. And you see in him that unlike the alien aberration or undead hatreds you have faced in the past, this is not beyond. It is something that each human has the gift of, because he doesn't just hate you, he hates everybody. And he doesn't hate them in an alien way. He wants them to know that they deserve it.
I process all of that, and you just see pity.
He goes mad. As pity crosses your face, he looks at you and goes,
You hate everything so purely. Oh, you poor thing. Look at how much you hate yourself.
you know what your fault is, Zerxus? Other than just being very trusting. You truly believe that you are above this all, this city that you will not call home, me, the gods. But I'm not the one who left my little son down in that city for all of my devils to find. So I think you are going to make a very good champion for me. And he twists your head around, snaps your neck. You've died for the third time in less than that many minutes. And he drops you to the ground. And you are now you feel your spirit being released from your mortal body. And you see the Lord of Hells existing in this sort of liminal space goes, sorry about your sword. I tend to have that effect. But the fact that you pity me doesn't spoil anything for me because I think that you are my greatest champion, Zerxus. So, if you'd like to be back in the world, you see he grabs Zartaza, the Arrhenius, by the throat. She goes, thank you! And he smashes her into the ground, and you see a ruby-headed, black iron-encrusted mace crunch as she explodes in blood, and there is armor everywhere. The top of the mace almost like a black crown. The ruby glows with infernal fire in the head of the mace, and it rests there in this liminal space. That's there for you to pick up if you want, Zerxus. But you know the cost you pay for it. But I won't force you. The afterlife awaits.
Do it! I inhaled the water out of shock. I was trying to keep it down.
I appreciate the extra 10 seconds.
That mace.
The mace of the Black Crown.
Oh.
What's that?
My God.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Shit.
I go, is it my spirit or my body that has agency right now?
It is now your spirit that has agency. You see that the Lord of Hell, the Lord of the Hells is exiting. He leaves this infernal mace in front of your spirit. You feel in a liminal. You feel the pull of the afterlife. Your dead body has let your spirit go, but there is this gleaming infernal artifact before you.
Oh my God.
You dimension door away. As you do dimension door to it, like a secret private sanctum that you know about, you see a screen, a light in the room that you are in, from prone on the floor, being kind of glitching and staticking, is a feed from Dweomer, whose body is like on the ground. She might still be partially active, but she is just sort of like flat and still on the ground, showing you an image of what is happening in that room. You hear them talking. Do you speak Infernal?
No.
Okay, copy that.
I have tongues.
You have tongues?
Yeah.
Do you want to cast tongues?
I do.
Cool.
I'm out of 3rd level spells. I'm running out of everything.
You cast tongues. You see the Lord of the Hells looking down at Vespin Chloris and saying, Hollow, Friend, Lightbreaker, Cormorant, get them all in position. Vespin sort of crouches and squeals, and you see that the Lord of the Hells smashes him in the face with a hand, and he scatters to the ground and says, all dead? Well, mortals are as disappointing as ever, I suppose. Have the Kanathi all activated their runes? Very good. And you see that he is surrounded by motes of fire for a second, and you see images of Kanathi all around the city in hiding, with those sort of like runes that were ceremonially cut with blood. The Lord of the Hells touches his forehead, and all of those runes light. The Kanathi begin to burn and immolate, and from their burning chests, full devils begin to crawl into the world all over Avalier.
The reason I ran, because Rare's telepathic bond is still up.
Yeah.
And I am just live feeding this to the last person that's still up and can do something about this.
Incredible.
So you know everything we know now.
I'm going to ask for death saves from Loquacious and Nidus.
How many?
Well, you have one failed one, so you're just going to give me one for right now. We're going to bend time a little bit here.
Sorry.
That's a 6.
That's your second failure, Quay.
You know, I
Come on.
Natural 20. Back to 1.
Yeah,
back.
pop
In the
back
back.
up. Pop back
Act as
up.
if.
Come on.
Come on.
Manifest.
that is a 16.
Okay.
Success and failure for Nidus.
Success and failure?
One success.
one
Failure. Right.
You see,
This is crazy.
My head hurts again.
Doctor, not even down there.
I know.
you see
I don't want him.
that the Lord of Hell's Vespin looks up and snarls something up at the Lord of the Hells, and you see the Lord of the Hells goes, "You're telling me that the God of Death is a mortal?" I hate to say I told you so! And you see Vespin sort of shrinks away from that. And you see he says, "Well, I cannot wait to meet this matron of ravens. To think, if they just listened to us and not given magic to them, my sibling whose name I can no longer remember might still be here."
Oh, man.
You see that he then moves forward and says, "Vespin, you know what you must do. Prepare the gateway for the Emperor and Empress. They must join us before sunrise in Vasselheim." He said, you see Vespin goes, and the Lord of the Hells says, "The Primordials can handle Avalier. My business takes me to Vasselheim tonight." He smiles, opens a door and says, "The Emperor and Empress. Get it done, Vespin." Opens a door and you see, for the first time, the towers of Gordranis, newly built by the powers of betrayers. He walks through and you see the second form of a hulking betrayer. The Lord of the Hells steps through this gate and goes, "Brother!" "Great ruiner. If you're not busy, I was thinking we might go and destroy the Dawn City together. Does that sound like a good time?" And the door begins to close behind him, and he says, "I have some interesting help from some old allies of ours." And the door closes. You see the mace behind you on the ground.
I can't help but turn back and look at it. Evandrin, I had no idea that the life of the first night in that tower would be so lonely.
I failed you, and I made it lonely. I should have been a cleverer spell sword than I am, because I know how special you are. You tapped into something deep and profound. When I saw you for that moment, there have been times where I could see through Tempest's eyes, and I saw you wield that power earlier this night. There is a place beyond the stars that your heart alone can reach, and I have known it of you since the first day we met.
Is that where you want me to go? Is that where you think my place is?
Yes, you. And you see here, Evandrin looks at the mace and narrows his eyes. He doesn't like what he sees there. You see, he says, yes, you can go. If you have been struck down, if you have been killed, then we will find a way. We will find a way. There are resurrections. We will find a way.
Evander, listen to me.
Okay.
I believe in my heart that you will find a way. I know you will. But you know me. And I know what I believe is true. And I will never give up. The age of Arcanum is dead. What comes next?
We don't have to accept it.
I don't accept it. I start to reach for the mace. Find a way, Evandrin. And if that place up there amongst the stars is where I belong, then I will end up there.
You see, he looks to you as you reach for the mace. You look in his eyes. You know that if you move into the space beyond, that your beautiful husband will not find a way to save your son. He has been trapped here for many long years. If Elias is to be saved, then you know what must be done.
If any of them are to be saved, then I know what must be done.
Your hand grasps the mace.
I say to him, what follows the age of Arcanum eventually must be the age of salvation. And I grab it with all of my strength.
He looks at you. Fire. Your gleaming armor is charred with flame beyond recognition. Your skull begins to split as two curling ram's horns move from your skull. You see Evandrin looks and goes, Zerxus, no! Zerxus! You feel yourself being pulled. You know the bargain you have struck by accepting this power. And he looks out after you. Moving through fire, you are not burned. And at first you wonder if it is due to some image of your new form. But you know that that's not why you're not being burned. Because the devil wants his followers to hurt. And you're not hurting because from the stars themselves, a love as profound as any that Exandria has ever known surrounds you. And you hear Evandrin's voice in your mind. I don't know how deeply you have sacrificed to do what must be done, but I know this. There is no God that strides this world that I worship more than I worship your heart. There is a power beyond the stars that you alone could find. And though you may be his by working of foul magic, I vow this. I bear your name. I bear it on this stone. And one day I will bring you home. You arrive back in the chamber.
I'm physically falling apart right now.
100%.
Laren. Almost falling. You see Loquacious. Paisha, your best friend, to your side. You see, lying beside each other, Zerxus and Nidus, standing in the center of the room, still fighting with every breath, is Seret. You reach, all of you feel as the city settles, its energy restored from what you saved from the Tree of Names. Touch your hands. This thing you made. This dream. Are you the woman who doomed the world, or are you the woman who saved it? Are all of you the heroes that you strove to be, or the villains that from time to time you might have been afraid you were becoming? In a world with this much power, what can be said to be the difference? You reach far away, the Eldritch Battery, with the names of the Emperor and Empress alight. Lime green energy rushing through the city. As the city docks atop Cath Moira, the sun threatening to rise above the horizon, the energy rushes into the ground, their names inscribed. To break the ancient wards, to release the primordials, a colossus of fire, a titan of earth, to join the betrayers and bring eternal torment to Exandria. That is what was foretold. If the primordials joined, all would be lost. Dying from his injuries, but smiling because he completed his last instructions, Callum Staffright connected the broken battery back to the etheric net and put it online for you. It is nice, perhaps, to know that a woman of your singular genius was not completely alone. The energy rushes into the earth, connected to the Layrite, and swirls, preparing to summon them back into Exandria, and instead, the Layrite crafts a path away from this world. You made your choice. Safety for Avalier and Cath Moira and the lands of Dominus, or certainty that Exandria in some form would survive the coming calamity. As the magic flows, the taxmen suddenly stop, and you hear a voice coming through them from the Lord of Hells. What? What have you done? Energy erupts, the ground shakes, and the ley line angles up into the heavens. You hear the ground trembling. No! 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 Well, if Dominus is the smile of Exandria, then let's shatter her teeth. for Nidus and Zerxus as you lay dying. Zerxus, you feel release. And let me ask you, your friend Nidus has given you this way out. The words of the Lord of the Hells were sweet and cloying. Does Zerxus take this chance to walk away?
In his, whatever remains of his consciousness, it's as if he has a knife to his own throat. But in the back of his mind, he knows in his heart that salvation and redemption is there for everyone. And it pulls him right back.
You remain within this form. The last thing you see as your body begins to immolate and burn, going to the place where Vespin went, is a griffin made of stars, called back to its feather, bearing on its back a young boy holding a journal. The griffin climbs and climbs, racing against the dawn. And the griffin opens a door into a sea of stars. Elias leaps into the arms of Evandrin. Reunited, you see the face of your husband and your son. And across endless realms, you hear Evandrin's voice. I know what you gave. You found a path beyond the stars. I do not know whence the gods came from, but I know that you found it in your heart. I promise you, Zerxus, I will find that place. I will find the secret of how these worlds were made. And I will come and find you and bring you home.
Whatever little strength I have, all I can do is close my eyes and feel myself fall as I touch his namestone with whatever little strength I have left.
You fall into the flame to become something terrible. But your son, your husband, they know freedom and life out there among the stars.